In late July and early August, as devastating floods ravaged North China and Northeast China, Xi Jinping adamantly declined to personally visit the flood-stricken areas, sparking conjecture that he harbored fears of assassination. This trepidation arises because Xi Jinping invariably travels with extensive security measures, and only meticulously chosen ordinary people have the opportunity for close interactions with him, interactions rendered impossible amid the chaotic conditions of disaster-stricken regions. Yet, Xi's fixation on security extends beyond this. Some fortune-tellers have read the facial features of Xi Jinping and made significant predictions. Meanwhile, the economy is in severe decline, with popular uprisings becoming increasingly frequent, and the mountain of blood debt accumulated by the Chinese Communist Party over decades now squarely rests on Xi Jinping's shoulders. Facing a challenging path between the will of the gods and the will of the people, will Xi Jinping step down and dismantle the CCP or continue down a perilous road? It's all covered in today's China Truths. Physiognomy, power, and life and death of Xi Jinping. Xi Jinping attaches great importance to matters of life and death, and he has a secret in this regard. WikiLeaks once revealed that Xi Jinping believes in the Qigong and supernatural forces associated with Buddhist teachings. These supernatural forces encompass various elements, including prophecies, feng shui, and physiognomy. Last year, Taiwanese fortune-teller Zhou Yingjun made an appearance on a news program and analyzed Xi Jinping's facial features. She noted that Xi's eyebrows are sparse, which she referred to as light eyebrows. According to her interpretation, this suggests that Xi has difficulty forming deep emotional connections with others because he primarily loves himself, and other people typically hold little significance for him. Zhou Yingjun's analysis suggests that Xi is likely to have a long life based on his facial features. However, according to his Chinese astrology, Batzi, chart, he might encounter significant risks around the age of 79. If we go by Zhou Yingjun's interpretation, Xi Jinping, born in 1953, should theoretically be able to serve 2 more terms. Still, there could be substantial challenges during a leadership transition. Of course, exceptional circumstances can always arise, so Xi Jinping will need to exercise caution in the coming years. In 2018, Hong Kong fortune-teller Qiu Zhiwei, as reported by the Hong Kong Apple Daily, predicted that Xi Jinping would experience a decline in luck after the age of 73. He also foresaw Xi's health gradually deteriorating, potentially affecting his heart, blood vessels, and eyes. Qiu's interpretation is partly based on Xi Jinping's light eyebrows and the presence of a broken eyebrow line on his cheekbones, which could indicate potential rebellion from those under his leadership. Taiwanese fortune-teller Jiang Bail predicted that Xi Jinping could potentially rule China for 10 years, extending beyond 2008. However, Jiang Bail also highlighted Xi's character flaws associated with his light eyebrows, suggesting that Xi is ruthless and doesn't differentiate between friends and brothers, making those around him feel like they're accompanying a tiger. Apart from discussions regarding Xi's physiognomy, there are also some prophecies concerning Xi. In the Chinese folk prophecy book from the 7th century Tang dynasty, Tai Ban II, it mentions a white-feathered bird, interpreted as Xi, as the leader of a doomed party. This leader's fate is depicted as tragic because of his unwavering commitment to the party, interpreted as the Chinese Communist Party, resulting in a calamitous end, akin to a bird crashing into a mountain and perishing. Further details won't be delved into here. It's unclear whether Xi Jinping believes in these predictions, but he likely places faith in the protection and blessings of his ancestors. An article from the now-defunct Duowei website in 2014 reported on an on-site visit to the mausoleum of Xi Jinping's father, Xi Zhongshuan. It noted that Xi Zhongshuan's mausoleum is situated within the Wonquan River Ecological Park. The mausoleum's layout, facing northwest and southeast, carries political symbolism and is meticulously designed in accordance with feng shui principles, displaying a great deal of care and attention to detail. In the Shanxi Qinling Mountains, often referred to as the Dragon's Veins, there were numerous instances of illegal villa construction in recent years. In July 2018, despite Xi Jinping's 6th directive for rectification, it was rumored that local high-ranking officials collectively resisted and opposed his orders, resulting in a large-scale purge in the officialdom. In April 2020, Xi Jinping made a special visit to the Nubalying Nature Reserve in the Qinling Mountains. During this visit, he emphasized the unifying role of the Qinling Mountains between North and South China and described them as the central water tower of China and the Chinese ancestral route, while avoiding the term dragon's veins. It's because Xi Jinping places a high value on feng shui and safeguarding his dragon's veins that he didn't hesitate to remove a group of officials in Shaanxi and insisted on demolishing those villas. Super security to prevent assassination. Since taking office, Xi Jinping has, for the first time in significant CCP meetings, employed male attendants who can immediately transform into bodyguards in case of emergencies. This move reveals Xi's strategic thinking. Over the past 5 years, Xi Jinping has expressed concerns about the security of the regime within the CCP on no less than 10 occasions, stating that they should be prepared to withstand major tests of great turbulence and even shock waves. It's hard to interpret this statement as mere motivation. It seems more like a warning or even intimidation to fellow party members on the same sinking ship. Rough waters are coming, and the ship might capsize. At the 20th National Congress of the CCP in October of last year, records from Xinhua News Agency showed that Xi Jinping mentioned security as many as 68 times, a significant increase from the 43 times in 2017. On May 30th this year, during a meeting of the National Security Commission, Xi Jinping admitted that the complexity and severity of national security issues facing the CCP have significantly increased. In the current context of the CCP, national security equates to regime security, which in turn is Xi Jinping's core security. That's why the security arrangements for every trip Xi Jinping takes are astounding. During Xi's visit to Hong Kong on July 1, 2017, the police deployed nearly 10,000 personnel daily, including the Flying Tigers, mobile units, and the Anti-Terrorist Special Squad, among others. Helicopters were used for aerial surveillance, and sharpshooters were stationed on the rooftops of buildings near the hotel where she stayed. When Xi Jinping was preparing to leave the airport, the bulletproof vehicle he was in was surrounded by bodyguards, who even ran alongside the moving car. In November 2018, during Xi Jinping's visit to Papua New Guinea, 2 domestically produced armored vehicles were airshipped from China to the destination. In July 2021, during Xi Jinping's trip to Tibet, Wang Xiaohong, the executive deputy minister of the Ministry of Public Security and director of the Security Bureau, personally provided security. This was unprecedented and reflects Xi's concerns, making it difficult to trust any talk of ethnic unity. On July 1, 2022, during his 2-day visit to Hong Kong, Xi Jinping, who rarely stays overnight in the city, used a bulletproof vehicle brought from the mainland. Wang Xiaohong, who had just taken office as the Minister of Public Security, quietly accompanied Xi, and Chen Siyuan, Deputy Minister of Public Security responsible for political security, was also present. In Hong Kong, which belongs to China, Xi needed high-ranking officials to provide security, which seemed somewhat exaggerated. Furthermore, Xi's entourage headed to Hong Kong also included imperial physicians of Zhongnanhai, not only for health reasons but possibly also as a precaution against poisoning. For security, Xi Jinping doesn't even want a successor. Xi Jinping embarked on his 3rd term at the 20th National Congress of the CCP, effectively ascending the throne, and he didn't prepare a successor as tradition would dictate. Xi only trusts people he's familiar with, and indeed, he doesn't want to face a potential threat from a successor during his lifetime. In 2018, Xi Jinping, in a speech, rejected the succession system established by Deng Xiaoping and criticized the idea of a crown prince. On July 1 of this year, the official CCP publication published an internal speech by Xi Jinping from last year, where he called on officials not to be disloyal, double-dealing, or two-faced and not to sleep in the same bed but dream different dreams. Xi must be aware that many young officials fit this description. With such mistrust, how could he possibly arrange for a successor in advance? Under Xi's increasingly authoritarian regime, his advisors have been completely subservient, and there's not a single man left among them who can oppose him. Even if she were to genuinely contemplate passing on power in the future, it would be a challenging endeavor. Military coups, political upheaval, and civil unrest. The Chinese Communist Party initially seized power through the use of force, but the military is also the most terrifying thing for rulers, and Xi Jinping is also worried. Recently, the CCP has imposed social restrictions on both active and retired military officers, aiming to continuously purify their social circles, living environments, and friend circles. These restrictions are inhumane in their nature. In this digital age, even within the closed confines of the military, it's impossible to prevent individuals from forming their own thoughts. Military personnel within the CCP also have their own social circles and can be affected by various incidents related to demolitions and human rights issues in society. Presently, CCP soldiers are filled with grievances, and this cannot be resolved through political indoctrination alone. On June 24, a revolt occurred within Russia's Wagner Group, which was resolved within a day, and this event has also drawn attention to China. On August 23, 7 high-ranking members of the Russian Wagner Group, including Prigozhin, died in a plane crash, raising suspicions of an assassination. This incident is believed to stimulate contemplation among those considering military revolts in China. Once a revolt begins, there's no turning back. In recent times, many senior officers within the CCP's military have been investigated, all under a shroud of secrecy. This includes members of the Rocket Force and the Strategic Support Force, who were embroiled in a scandal involving the leaking of military secrets. The authorities have handled these cases discreetly, but they cannot conceal the underlying tensions within the military. The political landscape is also far from stable. State Councillor Qin Gang, who disappeared on June 25 and was relieved of his duties as foreign minister on July 25, remains missing with no clear explanation. Speculation suggests that Qin Gang may be involved in a military espionage case. Despite his unconventional promotion by Xi Jinping, he may have been used as a pawn by anti-Xi factions or manipulated through other means, committing an unforgivable offense that forced Xi to dismiss him. Another mysterious incident surrounds Wang Xiaojun, the former deputy director of the CCP Central Office and director of the Security Bureau, who was announced to have died of an incurable illness in Beijing on April 26, several months after the fact. When it comes to the death of Wang Xiaojun, the authorities' secrecy raises suspicions about whether Wang Xiaojun was found disloyal to Xi. Historically, the Central Security Bureau has often been entangled in palace coups. Nowadays, Xi Jinping is not only worried about potential palace coups from close quarters but also about armed uprisings by individuals both inside and outside the system. As previously reported, the Chinese Ministry of State Security recently revisited the case of Zishan, a retired teacher from the Yunnan Provincial Party School, from 7 years ago. They alleged that he had planned to purchase weapons from abroad, recruit a suicide squad, and attempt to overthrow the CCP regime. The rare official disclosure of this matter indicates a deepening crisis in this regard, necessitating a warning. In the civilian sphere, there was an incident last year on October 13 when Peng Zizhou hung anti-CCP banners at Sitong Bridge in Beijing. Peng Zizhou's actions were non-violent, but he proposed a strategy similar to destroying the CCP from within the CCP, which included inciting military and police uprisings. This points to one direction for future people's resistance. Looking for life in crisis. In recent years, China's economy has undergone turbulent transformations, private enterprises collapsing, foreign companies retreating, substantial declines in investment, reduced imports and exports, acute consumption deficiencies, a cascade of debt defaults, widespread youth unemployment, and a financially strained government. These issues are intertwined with an impending societal crisis. Many insightful individuals have pointed out that the fundamental cause of China's economic problems lies in the authoritarian rule of the CCP. Many of these emerging crises remain concealed within the tightly controlled state-run media. The CCP tends to depict a positive outlook even in the direst circumstances. Meanwhile, within the upper echelons of the political bureau, Xi's political allies have formed different interest groups, and they are far from being a united front. The incident involving Qin Gang demonstrates that the emphasis on party loyalty is unreliable, and officials' personal loyalty to Xi is also shaky. When Xi Jinping becomes unable to lead, who can come to his aid? Regardless of whether Xi designates a successor or not, once he becomes physically or mentally incapable, it will inevitably spark a fierce power struggle among the various factions within the Xi camp, leading to potential political chaos. What's even more critical is that the CCP has accumulated a legacy of bloodshed and debts over the decades, and Xi Jinping has now become the one held responsible for it. He is no longer capable of safeguarding himself. Some individuals have even posted speculations about Xi Jinping's cause of death on the internet. There's only one path between the will of gods and the will of the people, unless Xi Jinping abandons his delusions and voluntarily steps down, initiating the dismantling of the CCP from within, breaking free from the poison of Marxism. But is that still possible for him? And who will be capable of leading the future New China? Don't forget to comment in the section below to share your opinions on today's topic with us. Make sure to like and subscribe to see more interesting topics from China Truths.